we're all here. So first thing I'm going to do is just jump down like we did before. And right here where we're going down to, this is where we just dedoored from just a few minutes ago. The two skeletons that were guarding this door can respawn if, after about 10 minutes or so, requiring you to kill them again before you can unlock the door. Probably should have reset the instance for the video, but that's okay, because this is the part where we're diverging. So to go to both raids, we're going to go to the right here. And once you kill those two guardians, pick up your treasure bag there too. You can hit the rune, which opens the portal, and go ahead and go through the portal. And once you go through the portal, we're going to go to the left. It's always going to be left to the raids. Now be careful here that you don't fall. We're jumping over into the left, out into the left. If you fall down, it can be a little bit confusing to get back up, but there are ramps to get back up. Looks like Divinia fell. Albion, are you going to grab him? Okay, cool. Actually, I'm gonna jump down there with you. Everybody else sit tight, please.
I take it.
Alright, we're all together. If we were going to Hound of Zoriat, we would go through this portal here. But we are going to Vision of Destruction, so we're going to go over here to the right. There are two ways to get to it. There's what people call the high road, and then the low road. This is the low road. The high road just lets you feather fall down from above. And there is an advantage to doing it that way, but it's more to fight through. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Be very careful here. Some people are probably going to fall, but we're on walkways high above a floor. Don't walk into the red light. It will insta-kill you. The red light, like over here where Albion is. There are 5 pressure plates that need to be lit up. There are 4 around the center red light, and we can just step on those to light them up. And then the center one, what you have to do is lure one of the enemy mobs onto it to light it up. So do not kill the archers, please. Nobody kill the archers. If you need a jump, let me know. Ooh, that was some bad lag. If you fall down, no problem, don't panic. Like Setili fell. Don't run around and get a bunch of aggro, because you can get a red dungeon alert really quick and make your party members very angry at you. We won't get angry at you, but if you were in a pug, they might get angry at you. And they might rage quit or scream at you over mic or all kinds of nasty things. It's okay. Somebody always falls. This is standard. It's just better to let people know that you fell if you don't know how to get up than to run around and grab a bunch of aggro and get a red dungeon alert before anybody realizes that you fell and are lost. And this is the way to get back up here, way in the northeast corner of this big area. So now we're trying to light the 5 lights so that we can open the way. If you look, there's like a flame barrier to the north. There's a couple orthons guarding it. That flame barrier is what comes down once we get all 5 of these lights lit. So if there's somebody with wings or abundant step, it can be really helpful. Or you can just feather fall down from the far platform. So if you come over here in the west, where I'm going in wolf form right now, center's done. Okay, cool. So you come up here. I'm just showing you that, you know, if you're with the group and nobody had like abundant step or something, you can jump down and feather fall down here to get this one that's sort of isolated. And now all 5 are lit. Sweet. So now that barrier comes down. If you're out here and you don't have abundant step, you're really just going to have to jump down. Don't touch the red light. Everybody who's up there, go ahead and jump down, and I'll show you how to get back up. Because when you do this with a pug, you don't want to be the guy that's like, I fell and I don't know how to get back up. In addition to those 5 lights that have to be lit up to pull down the flame barrier, there's also a lever that needs to be pulled to let you through another barrier behind that. That lever is located at the top of this fortress that we're going to go to right now. Oh, the lever pulls down the flame barrier. I guess the lights did the bridge? I don't know. You have to do the lights in any event. Okay, so come up these ramps. There's kind of a shitstorm up here. So you don't want to come up here alone unless you can handle a shitstorm. And here's the lever. There is an explorer up here, by the way, somewhere here at the top, if you need it. And then you can just jump down in the north. Just jump over the edge, and there's a chest and some shrines. But you don't need to worry too much about shrining because there is a ready room for the raid, and that has shrines. So just jump down to the north, Okay, cool, we're all here. This is just a level 20 on Elite, so we got most people are way over level. This should be a walk in the park. This is a very simple raid. It's a very simple beatdown raid. There are some events that happen along the way, which I'll cover. But right now, if you're not shrining, then just line up along the wall on the right. That lets people know. That'll let people know that just you're ready to go, and people will give you buffs if you're lined up over there. Parkron, would you like to tank the boss? See that you're a paladin. If you have decent AC and PRR, you should be fine. You'll do fine. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. Yes! Good call, Ziffin. I should have said that before we even came in here. It's really important to have curse pots for this raid. You should have curse pots all the time, but you really need them for this raid. So make sure you have them hotbarred, because the boss is going to, the boss, which is Sulamati's, Sully, he curses you, and it's a kind of curse that makes it so that you cannot be healed. So if you get cursed, make sure you drink a curse pot right away. Otherwise, you might find yourself dead. Yep. Alright, go ahead and step in, but do not move, folks. Step in, but do not move. Got some spikes ahead. They're a little nasty, no big deal if you're an epic tune, but they used to be kind of scary. So here's what's going to happen. If you look up, you see Sulamati's the boss up there on top of his pedestal. And once we move forward, he'll come down.
Did I get any traps?
Yeah, well, there are some traps, but wait for that, please. Don't move yet, folks. So he's going to come down, and we're going to have 4 red name Orthons, and we're going to beat them down while the tank grabs the aggro of Sully. And what you're going to do is, see this little cubby right behind us and to the right, Parkron? Right over here where I am. This is where you want to back into. Okay? With Sully facing you, and everybody else is going to beat on him from the back, okay?
Okay.
Do you have Intimidate on that tune?
Not really. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So you're... Do you have a way to hold his aggro?
I have something that gives me 100% bonus to threat generation.
Okay. But you don't have Intimidate, so it might be kind of tough. Well, we'll let you do it, you know. And if you lose aggro, then we'll figure something out. I can always tank him. It's all good. Is there anybody else here that would like to tank him?
I got a 58 in Intimidate.
Okay. I'm not sure that'll be high enough, but it might be. Okay. There are also 8 trap boxes. So if you look around, you see there's some like metalish walls. There's some like rough stone walls, and there are some like metal looking walls. Each of those walls has 2 trap boxes on it. So if you have a trapper, you have them get those right away. If you don't get the trap boxes, what happens is, like in the middle of the raid, there's going to be spinny traps that pop up out of the floor all over this whole area. No big deal. You can just hide in the cubby and, you know, for the few minutes that they're out, and they'll go away, and that's fine. So, then after we beat down the Orthons, we're going to beat on Sully. There's going to be waves of trash. It's going to be devils. There's going to be some bats. No big deal. Toward the end, there's going to be another wave of red Orthons and a wave of detonator bats, which are going to explode on contact, do a lot of fire damage. No big deal now that everybody's epic level. Then we're going to keep beating down Sully. Then he's going to die, and it's going to be over. Pretty straightforward. I'll talk us through it. I'm just going to run around to start things. There we go. So everybody just work on the red Orthons now. For what it's worth, back in the day you used to have a separate person tanking these, but now that everybody's epic, these Orthons are really no different than like epic elite trash mobs. Okay, there's Sulamatis. Let Parkron grab aggro. Nobody DPS Sully. Let Parkron try it out. LB, back off, please. Just want to let Parkron try out his tanking skills. Looks like he got his aggro. Go ahead and back into that corner. Ziffin, you should not be standing there. It used to be real popular to have a Warforged tank him back in the day because a Warforged could be reconstructed even if they were cursed. But not a big deal now. It's okay, LB. So that's not the best cubby to have him in. What I want you to do is I want you to come back out of there and go to the cubby around the pillar from you. It'll be to your right. There you go. That's where you want him to be. And the idea here is just so that you know you're in that nice little cubby there, and everybody else is going to beat on from behind. Remember to get your curses. We're going to let him try to establish aggro for a few seconds, and then we're going to attack Sully. Alright, let's go ahead and start beating on Sully, folks. Electrical resistance is important to have in here because he does chain lightning. Fire resistance is important too. If Parkron loses aggro, let him reestablish it. It's a good opportunity for him to practice some tanking skills.
How do you know exactly when aggro is reestablished, per se?
Well, when Sully turns back onto Parkron, that's one way you can tell. But when Parkron does his Intimidate move...
That it doesn't, like, build up more aggro just by doing him fighting for, like, 30 seconds, or it's not really necessary?
Yeah, it does, actually. It does build up more hate. And the more hate he has built up, the more likely he's going to retain Sulamati's aggro. But also, like, you can tell when his aggro switches too, because when you do your Intimidate move, you'll see like a little flame above the mob's heads. Okay, and I'm gonna show you that. Watch Sulamati's above his head right now. I'm gonna intimidate him off of Parkron, And you're going to see a little symbol above his head. Did you see that symbol? It was like a, looked like a flame.
Yeah.
So that's how you can tell his aggro is switching. So go ahead, you can reestablish aggro.
That? Yeah, I understood the way Intimidate works. I just wasn't sure how like the whole aggro system works.
And so when you use the Intimidate skill, what it does, it like bumps you to the top of that hate list. And you also generate extra hate for like 8 seconds or whatever, I can't remember what it is, while Intimidate's on cooldown. You get a little buff in your buff bar that shows that. But people can pull, aggro off of you too. So, if you are a tank and you're trying to hold aggro, it's important to have ways to increase your threat in addition to just having a high Intimidate. And you don't even necessarily have to do a ton of damage if you have a lot of threat generation. You might have threat generation that's, for every damage you do, it's generating, 300% times that amount of hate. Go ahead and go in on Sully, folks. Now the reality is here, again, because we're all sorry, Tim Mac, I was a little slow on the draw there. Most people are over level that are doing this raid these days. So the reality is, you almost you don't even really need a tank. Everybody can just gang up on Sully and beat him down. And it'd be over so fast if you came in here with a bunch of epic level tunes. But since you guys are new to this, I just want to get you guys see like how this raid sort of traditionally works, and if you're maybe you might want to do it at level sometimes. And it is, if you do this raid at level, it's still a challenge, and it's actually worth decent XP to do this at level. You come in here at level 20. It's a lot easier than it used to be, because at level 20 you've got access to your epic destinies now, and it's pretty good XP. You could even come down here with a group of 4, 5, or 6 of you and knock this out at level 20 and get 50, 60,000 KXP. I can't remember how much it is, but it's decent. You guys can just beat on Sully at will. Don't worry about aggro at this point. I really just want to park around to be able to practice his skills. We could just focus on beating Sully down now, wherever he is. Sully is immune to electricity, by the way. He's also immune to fire. He does take cold damage, and I believe acid damage as well. Yes to acid. And as we were talking about earlier, his damage reduction is silver and good. We just tested that actually last night. I think it was me and you, right, Ziffin?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he and I threw our Storms of Vengeance on top of each other's, and his was the only one ticking, mine wasn't. I don't know if that was because his was cast first, or if it was because his was doing more damage. In any event, they don't seem to work on top of each other. Kind of like firewalls. So take a look around, you'll see that all the traps have been done, thanks to whoever did that. Yeah, sometimes he just stands there and thinks about stuff. He's living the reflective life. Sometimes he goes back on top of his perch there and taunts us. So here's the first wave of bats. These aren't the detonator bats, these are just the baby bats. Nothing to worry about. The detonator bats back in the day, you know, like I said, they do explode on contact, and they would wipe groups right at the end. You know, you would want to have like fire shield going or any kind of spell or fire absorption you could, but nowadays they don't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, is he immune while he's up there?
Yes, so don't bother trying to hit him with anything. And he's just gonna stay up. It's just timed. It's not. There's nothing we can do to get him down to come down sooner. And he's gonna target us with these chains that make us move really slow and make us look really cool, because everything looks cooler in slow motion. And there's no way to get out of them or avoid them. It's just timed. All parts of this raid and working your way to the raid in the Subterrane are soloable. As long as you can handle all the mobs and everything, you can totally do this by yourself. Somebody's got the chains, yeah, so Kirinu over here, go ahead and try to move around so people can see. And it just lasts 10 seconds or so.
Everybody point and laugh.
Yep. That's really all you can do. And now Kirinu got him again, he likes you. No, 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 no.
We've been making eye contact.
From across the smoky room. Alright, everybody, beat on Sully.
Exactly.
Okay, the elite orthons are up, so let the tank hold Sully's aggro, and everybody else beat on their orthons, please. And those orthons always pop when he's at, you know, whatever health he's at now, about 15% or so, 20%. And now we just beat him down. We're going to get bats here in a few seconds. Blade barriers are nice to chew up the bats. But like I said, they're not that big of a deal anymore anyways. And that's Vision of Destruction. Congrats on your first completions, folks. A lot of you are first timers. We will be doing Hound of Zoriat immediately after this one, so everybody will be welcome to stay for that. And help yourself to the 3 chests. No, you've never needed a Bard for Hound. Bard is nice because they have the songs to buff the dogs, which is helpful, but is not necessary.
Someone got the braces of the glacier. Hey, cool.
Very nice. Put those up for roll if you don't want them. Those are a really nice item for casters. It's got Spell Pen 3 and Archmagi for a level 13. It's not, that's I guess second best to the Vibrant Purple Ironstone. There they are, D300 for the Braces of the Glacier.